What's up, YouTubers? Today we're going to take a look at the Ryder Classic Carbon Barlow. This is yellow synthetic. That's a euphemism for cheap plastic. I won't say it's cheap, but we'll talk about the price of this knife a little bit. This knife contains a 2.4-inch clip point blade. Nice polish on it, and it also has a 1.75-inch pen blade on there. These are both made of Chinese T10 steel, which, as I understand it, is akin to 1095. And just from my own cut tests, I'd say that actually it tests pretty well as if it is 1095 steel, carbon steel. So the price of this knife, I'll go ahead and close that pen blade, is $14 at Smoky Mountain Knife Works. And obviously there's going to be some corners that are cut on this knife, but for the most part, the materials hold up pretty well. It actually looks kind of nice. We'll talk about pros and cons of those things. In terms of a comparison knife, I would, on the larger size, really more in terms of carry, in terms of the weight. This is a 3.6 ounce, the GEC made Remington Prospector Baby Bullet. It's obviously, in terms of the materials and price and all that sort of thing, it's a different class in craftsmanship. But in terms of carry in the pocket, they're both quite substantial, and it really did kind of have that feel in terms of that girth there. So that would be one on the taller side. In terms of one kind of closer in terms of carry and price, the Queen City Canoe. This one has abalone on it, and that one is, I think that was about $30. I kind of forgot, but that one weighs 2.6 ounces against this one, which is 3.1 ounces. So very similar in terms of, just kind of overall size in the pocket. Just doesn't have that width of this particular knife. Let's jump right into the pros and the cons of this one. On the good side, these blades were actually really good. I didn't know what T10 steel was. You start researching, Googling, you find out that it's basically the composition very similar to 1095 carbon steel, aka. And sure enough, I actually believe in this. In fact, I'll go ahead and intercut in the. I went ahead and completely carved out a chopstick, just because that's what I tend to use when I'm out camping is chopsticks. And I'll go ahead and intercut that now. So yeah, it did a really good job, and I'll say this knife is every bit as sharp as it was, after doing that. I really kind of like the match strike nail nicks on this, on both blades, so you're going to see that patterning right there. Does it provide anything? No, it's just kind of neat looking, kind of a historical thing too. This has a really good classic old school look. Like I said, I picked this one specifically because I thought, hey, that kind of looks like, bone material that's just sat out in the sun and maybe faded for 100 years, and that is actually how it kind of looks. So I kind of like that one, and I'll even say that it feels like it's kind of pre-patinaed. Actually, it was on this side. And let's see if that shows up on that top little bit where I was grabbing for just the last couple weeks. You can see a little bit of the patina up there, and so yeah, this is definitely a carbon steel because it did do that. $14. This is not bad. I mean, we're talking, it's got basically pinched bolsters, double threaded. It's got the stamp there. Actually, the mark is pretty good too. It sticks out a little bit, but boy, $14 for this. There's a lot of asymmetry and things like that, but if somebody's whipping through this in a factory, obviously it's made in China. This is actually pretty amazing for $14, especially as a user. Not as a beautiful looker, but as a user, if you want a Barlow, this is a really good one. I will say that the springs on this one are actually really good. They're level when it's in, and they're also level when it's all the way deployed out, in terms of on the backside here. So the only time that you have any sort of a really spring, I guess, proudness or whatever, pride is on the pen blade when it goes through that half stop area. So yeah, I think the pull weight on these is probably about a 5, or about a 6 actually on the pen blade. It's a little bit stiffer, and then it's got decent walk and talk, and then the clip blade about a 5. So kind of in that mid range. For me, actually, it's great pull weights. So I kind of like these. And really, the last thing is the comfort in the hand on this one, with this Barlow blade being kind of nice and wide, and it actually kind of fits. You can fit all 4 fingers of a medium-large hand in there, and when I was carving, it's a very comfortable feel. So yeah, this Barlow shape, I'm definitely a big fan of that sort of thing, if you want to really, cut on some wood for quite a while. On the bad side, the fit and finish we talked about, I don't know if you can see, yeah, you can kind of see that right there. This bolster is literally, I won't say bent out, but the pile side bolster is literally sticking out, and you can just push that in. That's it. At first I was a little concerned carrying it for a couple of weeks that was going to get caught on something and maybe like bend it out further. As long as you're not doing something jackassy, it's fine. It didn't get any worse. It didn't get any better. Didn't really interfere with the use of it, but it is definitely, you can actually, if you shine a flashlight through, you can actually see a fair bit of light through there, actually about halfway through. So that's definitely kind of one of those things that, if they had just had that solved, had that one been down, I almost wish they had had a piece of epoxy or whatever, and just when they peened that thing on, had that there, that would have been great. It would have made this thing worth $30, $50 in my book, based on the materials and the use that I've seen of this one. The clip point blade is definitely nowhere near centered. It's not dragging entirely on the side of the brass liner over there, but what I will say is that's a kind of a maybe con against it, because one of the definite cons is that having the nail nick on the same side, yeah, sure, that looks neat and dramatic like that, but not having the nail nick on this side, and I actually suffered this thing with the GEC Pony Jack too, just a little bit, is it's a really, really tight fit to get into that nick, and so I'm very thankful actually that it was favoring that pile side over there instead of the mark side. So kind of a bad thing, but kind of a good thing. And then the last thing that I will say is, again, speaks to the fit and finish. It is not on camera now. I actually had to do a lot of work on this thing. There was black soot and gunk basically everywhere, both inside the liners and spacer there. I really had to do a full clean out of this thing, oil it a couple times, run it through a lot of times. In fact, there was so much gunk and stuff in there here on the back of the blade, it was literally black on the tings there. And when I got to opening up the clip point, not the pen blade always worked fine, but on the clip point, it was literally, there was no snap at all like that. So it literally was just like a continuous slow, and you had to almost push it into place. So once I cleaned that all out, yeah, actually it's very functional, and kind of like that. So again, for $14, am I going to complain? No. That's one of those things I expect to on a really inexpensive knife. Actually have to do a little bit of maintenance and tidying up on this thing. So overall, I would say this is an inexpensive entry-level knife for someone on a serious budget. But actually, this can do some serious business. Like I said, if you just need to sit and carve for an hour or something, and you don't want to resharpen it, get the Carbon series, and this thing did just fine. And like I said, it was, it's not razor sharp out of the box, but I wouldn't expect it. But being that, that T10 steel, it's going to sharpen up easy enough. Just drag it through a Spyderco Sharp Maker, not a problem. Be prepared for some of the inconsistencies, and don't be mad at, having to, like I said, if the action's really awful, you may have to just do some cleaning out, shoots through some alcohol and that sort of thing. But hey, overall for $14, I can say that this is definitely a treasure of a buy. Hope you did enjoy this and found it of use. If so, go ahead and like and subscribe, and have a great day. Take care now.